Let me ask you something that nobody else will dare to ask you. What if you were never the problem? Think about that for a moment. Because I know you've blamed yourself. I know you've looked at your bank account and felt that quiet, crushing shame. The kind that doesn't shout. The kind that just sits there, heavy and persistent, whispering that maybe you're simply not built for wealth. Maybe you don't deserve it. Maybe there's something fundamentally, irreparably wrong with the way you handle money. But what if that voice has been lying to you your entire life? What if every time money slipped through your fingers, every time a genuinely good month suddenly collapsed into an unexpected expense, every time you got this close to financial freedom, only to watch it dissolve like smoke? What if that wasn't failure? What if that wasn't weakness? What if that was your body doing exactly what it was programmed to do? Running a survival script so ancient, so deeply embedded in your nervous system, that no amount of budgeting, hustling, or positive thinking could ever override it. Because here is the truth that nobody is telling you. The truth that changes everything. You don't have a money problem. You have a capacity problem. Right now, your nervous system has a ceiling. A hard, invisible, ruthlessly enforced ceiling on how much abundance it believes is safe to hold. Not how much you want. Not how much you deserve. How much it believes is safe. And the moment your income, your opportunities, your energy begins to cross that threshold, something ancient inside you activates. Not to celebrate, to correct, to quietly, efficiently, and invisibly bring the level back down to the familiar, back to the known, back to what the body has decided is survivable. The car breaks down. The bill appears from nowhere. The deal falls through at the last second. You call it bad luck. Science calls it physiology. The ancient Taoist masters called it Jing leakage. And I call it the most expensive invisible wound you are carrying in your body right now, today, in this moment. And here is what makes this different from everything else you've ever watched, read, or tried before. This wound is visible. It leaves physical traces. In the tension held in your jaw, in the rhythm or the chaos of your digestion, in the way your body unconsciously drains the very energy it needs to build wealth. These are not metaphors. These are measurable, identifiable, reversible patterns written directly into your flesh. Today, we are going to find them. We are going to name them. And we are going to seal them permanently. I'm going to walk you through 3 physical signs that your body is actively rejecting wealth right now. And I'm going to give you a precise, step-by-step protocol to reverse every single one of them. Not in theory, in practice, in your body. Starting today. This is not motivation. This is not mindset fluff designed to make you feel good for 20 minutes before the old weight settles back in. This is the architecture of your energy field. And today, we rebuild it from the foundation up. If this is already resonating with something deep inside you, something that recognizes itself in these words, do something simple right now. Give this video a like, and drop a comment below telling me where in the world you are watching from, what time it is, and what minute of the video you're at. Let me know you're here. Let me know you're ready. Because what comes next will permanently shift the way you see yourself, your body, and your relationship with money. Watch until the very end. The protocol at the close of this video is where the real transformation lives. Stay with me. This is where it changes. Here is something that will disturb you in the best possible way. Every ancient civilization that ever built lasting wealth, from the Taoist alchemists of ancient China to the tantric masters of India, from the mystery schools of Egypt to the indigenous wisdom keepers of the Americas, every single one of them understood something about the human body that modern financial culture has completely erased from the conversation. They knew that wealth is not created in the mind. It is held in the body. And if the body cannot hold it, nothing else matters. Think about that for a second. We live in a world drowning in financial advice, budgeting apps, investment strategies, manifestation journals, wealth mindset courses, billions of dollars spent every year teaching people how to attract money. And yet the rates of financial instability keep climbing. More information than ever before. More confusion than ever before. More people working harder than their parents ever did, and still feeling like the floor keeps moving beneath their feet. Why? Because almost nobody is asking the right question. Almost nobody is looking in the right place. The right place is not your bank account. It is not your business strategy. It is not even your subconscious beliefs, although those matter deeply. The right place is something far more fundamental. It is the living, breathing, trembling vessel that carries you through every moment of your existence. Your body. In Taoist tradition, the body contains 3 sacred treasures that govern every aspect of human life. The first is Jing, your primal life essence, the most concentrated and precious form of energy a human being possesses. Think of it as the master fuel, the raw material from which everything else is built. It lives in your sacral center, deep in the lower abdomen, and it is the energetic foundation of your vitality, your creativity, your magnetism, and yes, your capacity to generate and hold wealth. The second treasure is Qi, the vital current that flows through your body like a river, carrying Jing's power into every cell, every organ, every thought and action. The third is Shen, your luminous spirit, the quality of consciousness that others feel when they enter your presence, that ineffable sense of someone being truly alive. These 3 are inseparable. They function as one system, and Jing is the root of all of it. When your Jing is full, something extraordinary happens. You become magnetic in a way that has nothing to do with personality or appearance or how hard you work. You walk into a room and conversations naturally turn toward you. Ideas arrive unbidden, vivid and complete. The right person appears at the right moment. Doors open without you having to force them. Money moves toward you because you are emitting something real, something measurable. A frequency of concentrated life force that opportunities are literally drawn to. This is not poetry. This is physics. In 2015, researchers studying the human bioelectric field discovered that the heart alone generates an electromagnetic field that extends up to several feet beyond the physical body. This field changes measurably, depending on the emotional and physiological state of the person. When the nervous system is in a state of what scientists call coherence, when the heart rhythm is smooth and harmonious, when the brain waves are synchronized and calm, this field becomes organized, powerful, and expansive. It influences the people around you. It shapes the opportunities that enter your reality. You are not just a person walking through the world. You are a broadcasting station, transmitting a signal in every direction, every second of every day. And here is where it gets deeply important. Most people are broadcasting static, not because they are broken, not because they are unworthy, but because their Jing is leaking, quietly, constantly, invisibly draining through cracks in the vessel that they have never been taught to see, let alone seal. The ancient Taoists had a name for the practice of closing these cracks. They called it sealing the 5 gates, 5 primary doorways through which Jing escapes the body. The eyes, the mouth, the ears, the nose, and the lower gate, not through suppression or denial, but through conscious, deliberate guardianship. When these gates are sealed, Jing accumulates in the lower dantian, the sacral center, building pressure, building potency, building what the alchemists described as the golden elixir, a state of such concentrated vitality that the practitioner's very presence begins to reorganize the reality around them. The ancient masters spent lifetimes refining this. You are going to begin today. But before you can seal anything, you need to see where you are losing energy right now. And this is where most people get uncomfortable. Because the leaks are not where you expect them to be. They are not in your thoughts. They are not in your past. They are written in your physical body in patterns so habitual, so deeply embedded, that you have stopped noticing them entirely. You have learned to call them normal. They are not normal. They are expensive. And one of them is happening in your body right now, in this exact moment as you watch this video. There are 3 of these patterns. 3 distinct, identifiable physical signs that your body is actively rejecting the wealth you are trying to build. And the first one is hiding in a place so obvious, so close, so completely overlooked, that when you find it, you will never be able to unsee it. Ready? Do this right now. Before you read another word, stop and notice your jaw, not your thoughts about your jaw, not a memory of tension. Your actual jaw, in this actual moment. Is it soft and loose, lips barely touching? Muscles completely at rest? Or is there a subtle grip, a quiet clenching, a barely noticeable hardness that has been living there so long you stopped registering it as tension and started registering it as simply your face? Now your shoulders. Are they dropped and heavy, resting naturally where gravity wants them? Or are they slightly elevated, slightly pulled forward, slightly braced, as if your body is perpetually waiting for something to go wrong? Now your hips, fluid and open, weight distributed evenly, pelvis in a natural, neutral position, or locked, compressed, tilted, legs perhaps crossed tightly, as if unconsciously guarding something that lives underneath? Here is what I want you to understand. If you found tension in even one of those three places, and most people find it in all three, you are not just physically uncomfortable. You are financially blocked, and you have been for a very long time. This is the first sign, chronic body armoring, and it is costing you more money than any bad investment you have ever made. Consider this. A woman building her first coaching business spends months wondering why clients almost reach out and then disappear. She follows up perfectly. Her offer is strong. Her message is clear. But in every sales conversation, something invisible happens. She grips. Her jaw tightens almost imperceptibly. Her shoulders rise by half an inch. Her body contracts into a posture of quiet desperation, of needing the outcome too much, of bracing for rejection before it even arrives. And the person on the other end of that conversation feels it, not consciously, in their nervous system. And they pull back. She thought she had a marketing problem. She had a body problem. This is not an isolated story. This is the hidden pattern underneath thousands of financial struggles that no spreadsheet or strategy will ever fix. Your jaw carries something specific and profound. It holds your voice, your capacity to speak your worth out loud without swallowing the number at the last second, your ability to ask for what you want without immediately apologizing for wanting it, your willingness to receive a compliment, an opportunity, a payment, without deflecting it away. When the jaw is chronically tight, the nervous system is running a very old program, one that says, stay small, don't ask, don't be too much, hold it all inside. And that program was written long before you had any say in the matter, perhaps in childhood, perhaps inherited from generations before you who learned that wanting too much was dangerous. Your shoulders carry the story of your burdens, every responsibility you were handed before you were ready. Every time you were told that asking for help was weakness. Every night you stayed up alone trying to control outcomes that were never fully in your control. When the shoulders are chronically raised and hardened, the body is living in permanent preparation for impact, and a nervous system braced for impact cannot simultaneously be open to receiving abundance. These two states are physiologically incompatible. And your hips are not just a joint. They are the physical gateway to your sacral center, the energetic home of creativity, flow, sexual vitality, and the generative force that builds wealth from the inside out. A 2018 study published in the Journal of Bodywork and Movement Therapies confirmed that chronic tension in the hip and pelvic region directly correlates with sympathetic nervous system dominance, meaning the body is locked in survival mode even when there is no actual threat present. Survival mode. The brain does not think about expansion. It thinks about protection. It hoards. It contracts. It turns away from opportunities that feel unfamiliar, too large, or too good to be trusted. Imagine someone walking toward you with both hands extended, offering you something valuable and real, and your hands are clenched in tight fists at your sides. Not because you don't want the gift, but because your body has forgotten how to be open enough to receive it. This is what chronic armoring does to your financial life. It makes you energetically unavailable. Opportunities arrive and find no opening. People who could change your life sense a closed door and move on. And you are left wondering why nothing ever quite lands, why you keep almost getting there, why the breakthrough keeps arriving at the edge of your life but never fully stepping through. Now I want you to do something powerful. Something that will activate the shift we are building together right now. Write this sentence in the comments below. Not silently in your mind. Type it out. Make it real and visible and declared. Write, I am a sealed vessel for infinite flowing wealth. This is not just an affirmation. This is a declaration to your own nervous system, a signal that something has changed, that you have seen the pattern, and you are choosing differently. The moment you write it, you are beginning the seal. And if this content is speaking to something real inside you, if you feel that this is exactly what someone in your life needs to hear right now, share this video with them. Send it to a friend, a family member, a person you know who is working hard but still feels like the floor keeps moving. This information changes lives. Be the one who passes it forward. Now, only the chosen ones will click the button on your screen right now to subscribe to this channel. Only those who are truly ready for the transformation that is coming. Be one of them. Because what comes next goes even deeper than the body's armor. Beneath the tension, beneath the bracing and the holding and the guarding, there is a quieter, more invisible leak happening. One that the modern world has made so easy, so normalized, so disguised as innocent pleasure, that almost nobody recognizes it for what it truly is. Until now. There is something the ancient traditions understood about human energy that the modern world has done everything possible to make you forget. And forgetting it is costing you everything. Your sexual energy and your financial energy are not two different things. They are not even related things. They are the exact same force, moving through the same channels sourced from the same reservoir, operating at the same frequency. In Tantric philosophy, this force is called Shakti, the primordial creative power that builds worlds. In Taoist tradition, it is Jing, the master fuel. In Kundalini practice, it is the serpent fire, coiled at the base of the spine, waiting to rise into genius, into vision, into the kind of magnetic creative force that generates wealth almost effortlessly. Every single tradition that ever mapped the human energy system arrived at the same conclusion independently. This force, when preserved and directed, produces extraordinary results in the material world. When scattered and burned without awareness, it produces exhaustion, stagnation, and financial paralysis. Most people are scattering it every single day, and they have no idea it is happening. This is what unconscious dissipation actually looks like in a real life. It looks like lying in bed at midnight, thumb moving automatically through an endless feed, not really enjoying anything, not really resting, just numbing. The body is buzzing with low-grade stimulation, a cocktail of comparison, mild arousal, background anxiety, and hollow entertainment. An hour passes, 2 hours, and when you finally put the phone down, you do not feel rested. You feel strangely hollow, like something was quietly taken from you while you were not paying attention. Because something was. It looks like eating past the point of real hunger, reaching for something sweet or heavy, not because the body needs fuel, but because something underneath is restless, and the food temporarily presses it down. It looks like sexual encounters driven not by genuine desire or real connection, but by boredom, by habit, by the unconscious need to discharge a tension that was never processed any other way. It looks like hours of fantasy, of living in mental scenarios that feel productive, but never translate into actual movement, actual creation, actual results. None of these feel like self-destruction. That is precisely what makes them so dangerous. They feel like relief. They feel like you finally, just for a moment, released the pressure. And in a narrow, immediate sense, you did. But energetically, you just drained the reservoir that was meant to build your future. You burned the fuel that was supposed to power the breakthrough you keep waiting for. Ask yourself honestly, when was the last time you had a period of genuine, sustained creative energy? The kind where ideas came fast and clear, where motivation felt effortless, where you woke up already moving towards something? Now think about what was different in your life during that time. Were you sleeping more? Consuming less? More physically active? Less plugged into passive entertainment? Most people, when they think carefully, can identify a direct correlation between their energy habits and their financial momentum. The connection is not psychological, it is biological. A 2020 research study confirmed that dopamine, the neurochemical that drives motivation, focused action, and goal-directed behavior, is directly and measurably depleted by passive digital consumption. Not enhanced, depleted. Every hour of mindless scrolling is an hour of borrowed motivation that you will need to repay later. Usually at the exact moment an important opportunity requires you to act with clarity and courage. The ancient wisdom and the modern neuroscience are pointing at the same truth from opposite directions. You are burning tomorrow's power on today's escape. Now here is what separates this from everything you may have heard before. This is not about guilt. This is not about shame or restriction or becoming someone rigid and joyless in the name of discipline. Suppression is its own kind of leak, and a deeper one. When you suppress desire without understanding it, it goes underground and expresses itself in far more destructive ways. This is about something entirely different. This is about consciousness, about the radical and deeply intimate act of pausing, just for one breath before you discharge, and asking yourself a single honest question. Is this how I choose to use this power right now? That pause is everything. That pause is where your freedom lives. Because here is what happens when someone genuinely stops the unconscious leaking, even for 30 days. The creative surges that arrive are startling. The mental clarity feels almost unfamiliar at first, like a frequency you forgot your body could tune into. Ideas begin to surface that feel alive and urgent and real. Opportunities that were always in your environment suddenly become visible, as if a fog is lifted. The people around you begin to respond to you differently, drawn by something they cannot name but can clearly feel. This is not coincidence. This is physics. This is what happens when the reservoir fills. But I need to tell you something important before we go any further. Something that changes the entire shape of this conversation. If the idea of pausing the dissipation even for a short period feels genuinely unbearable, if a quiet panic rises at the thought of sitting with the restlessness instead of immediately discharging it, do not judge that reaction. Do not push it away. Because that reaction is not weakness and it is not failure. It is a signal, and it is pointing directly at the third sign, the one that lives deeper in the body than tension or habit, the one that most people carry in silence for their entire lives, never once connecting it to the financial instability they cannot seem to escape. And once you see it, everything finally makes sense. There is a man in Tokyo who runs a successful logistics company. By every visible measure, he is doing well. The business grows. The clients return. The numbers look right on paper. But every year, without fail, something happens. A contract falls through at the last moment. An unexpected tax bill arrives. A key employee leaves and the cost of replacing them erases 3 months of profit. He cannot explain it. His accountant cannot explain it. He has tried new strategies, new advisors, new systems. The ceiling remains exactly where it has always been. What his accountant never checked was his digestion. This sounds strange. I understand that. Stay with me. In traditional Chinese medicine, a system refined over more than 2,000 years of direct human observation, the digestive system is not simply the mechanism that breaks down food. It is the body's primary center of transformation. Its capacity to receive raw material, extract what is valuable, use it fully, and release what is no longer needed is considered a direct mirror of how a person processes every other resource in their life. Energy, relationships, opportunities, money. When digestion is strong, rhythmic, and reliable, the person tends to move through life with a similar quality. They receive well. They integrate fully. They release without excessive clinging or fear. When digestion is chaotic, unpredictable, or blocked, that same chaos tends to ripple outward into every area of life, including finances. This is the third sign, and it is the one almost nobody is talking about. Look at these numbers for a moment. The global market for digestive health products exceeded $50 billion in 2023, and it is projected to reach nearly $100 billion by 2030. Irritable bowel syndrome alone affects an estimated 11% of the world population. Chronic bloating, irregular elimination, and functional digestive disorders are among the most commonly reported health complaints across every continent, every culture, every income level. We are living in a civilization experiencing a collective digestive crisis, and we are also living in a civilization experiencing a collective wealth crisis. 78% of workers globally report living paycheck to paycheck. The majority of people in even the wealthiest nations describe their relationship with money as a source of chronic stress and anxiety. These two crises are not separate. They share a root. The sacral center in the body governs the water element. It manages not only creative and sexual energy, but the kidneys, the bladder, the intestines, and the entire system of fluid regulation and rhythmic flow in the body. When this center is open but leaking, the gut is one of the first places the imbalance becomes physically visible. Here is how to recognize it in yourself. If you experience frequent constipation, days of holding followed by sudden, uncomfortable release, with no reliable rhythm or predictability, your body is demonstrating energetic hoarding. You are gripping what needs to move. You are holding what needs to be released. And financially, this pattern expresses itself as an inability to invest, to delegate, to spend even when strategic spending would multiply your returns. You control the flow so tightly that eventually the flow stops entirely. If the opposite is true, if food moves through you too quickly, if you frequently feel like you cannot fully absorb or retain what you consume, your body is showing you its inability to contain. And this is precisely the pattern of the person who closes the sale and the same afternoon the car breaks down, who receives the bonus and within days 3 unexpected expenses appear from nowhere, who is not unlucky, who is energetically unable to hold what arrives long enough for it to build into something lasting. If you experience chronic bloating, heaviness, or the sense that things are accumulating without moving forward, this is stagnation. The energy is entering, but it is not being transformed. And financially, this is the person with 10 unfinished projects, multiple interested prospects who never quite commit, and a persistent feeling that everything is about to happen but somehow never does. Your gut contains more than 100 million neurons. This is not a small number. It is more neural tissue than exists in your entire spinal cord. 90% of your body's serotonin, the molecule most directly responsible for emotional stability, a sense of safety, and the feeling that life is fundamentally manageable, is produced not in your brain, but in the lining of your intestines. A 2017 study published in Psychosomatic Medicine found that people with chronic digestive disorders reported significantly higher rates of financial impulsivity, stress-driven spending, and an inability to follow through on long-term financial plans compared to people with stable digestive function. The gut-brain-money connection is not a metaphor. It is a measurable biological reality. When the gut is inflamed, the entire nervous system shifts into a state of low-grade alarm. And from that state of alarm, every financial decision you make is quietly distorted. The investment that deserved a clear yes gets a fearful no. The boundary that needed to be held gets softened at the last second. The opportunity that required bold action gets another week of hesitation. Not because you lack intelligence or courage, because your body is operating from a compromised biological foundation. The man in Tokyo eventually discovered this, not through his accountant, through his own body. And what he found when he began to address the root, not just the symptoms, was something he had stopped believing was possible. The ceiling disappeared. You now have all 3 signs: the armor in your body, the invisible drain, the chaos in your gut. And if you have recognized yourself in any of these, even partially, even uncomfortably, there is one thing I need you to understand before we go any further. You are not broken. You are not cursed. You are not behind. You are leaking. And everything that has ever leaked can be sealed. What comes next is the part that changes everything. The precise step-by-step protocol that closes all 3 leaks at once, rebuilds your capacity to hold wealth at a cellular level, and begins a 21-day transformation that will make the person you are today almost unrecognizable to the person you will be at the end of it. Stay with me. We are almost there. The ancient Greek philosopher Heraclitus once wrote something that has survived 2,500 years because it refuses to stop being true. You cannot step into the same river twice. Not because the river is different, because you are different. Because every moment carries within it the seed of transformation. And the only question that has ever truly mattered is whether you are willing to step into the current, or whether you will spend your life standing safely on the bank, watching the water move without you. You have just spent this entire journey standing at the edge of something real. You have seen the armor your body built to protect you from a danger that no longer exists. You have recognized the invisible drain that has been quietly emptying the reservoir you need to build everything you came here to build. You have understood, perhaps for the very first time, that the chaos in your gut and the chaos in your finances are not two separate problems requiring two separate solutions. They are one wound, expressing itself in two languages. And now comes the moment that separates the people who change from the people who almost changed. The philosopher Seneca, who understood human nature with a precision that still cuts through centuries, wrote this: "It is not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste much of it." He was not speaking about laziness. He was speaking about the particular tragedy of the person who understands what needs to be done and still finds 1,000 elegant reasons to begin tomorrow. Do not begin tomorrow. Begin now. Begin with this. The Sacred Seal Protocol is a 21-day daily practice built around 3 focused sessions. It is not complicated. It is not extreme. It requires 45 minutes of your day, divided into 3 short windows, and it works by addressing all 3 leaks simultaneously at the level where they actually live, inside the body itself. Every morning and every evening, you spend 10 minutes on the practice of release. You open your jaw wide, hold for 3 seconds, and release. You repeat this 5 times, then massage the jaw joints with gentle circular pressure for 30 seconds on each side, and finish with 1 full minute of breathing with the jaw completely soft and loose. Then you lift your shoulders to your ears, hold for 3 seconds, and drop them with full weight. 5 times. 10 shoulder rotations backward, 10 forward. Then you stand with feet hip-width apart and rotate your hips in the largest, slowest circles you can make. 10 clockwise, 10 counterclockwise, 20 side-to-side movements, finishing with the pelvis. Return to a natural neutral position. You breathe into each zone with complete awareness. You are not stretching. You are speaking to your nervous system in the only language it truly understands, the language of the body itself. Every morning, you spend 15 minutes on the practice of retention. You sit quietly with 1 hand on your lower abdomen and 1 hand on your heart. You breathe deeply into the belly, feeling it expand beneath your palm. You hold for 4 counts. On the exhale, you gently engage the lower abdominal muscles and the pelvic floor, and you visualize the energy in your sacral center, a warm, luminous orange light rising slowly upward through your spine, filling your chest, your throat, the top of your head. You are not losing this energy. You are refining it, circulating it, transforming raw fuel into directed creative force. After 5 minutes of this breathwork, you place both hands on your lower belly and speak your intention clearly, out loud if possible. I choose to contain my energy. I direct my power with full awareness. I am magnetic, whole, and complete. Before each meal, you spend 10 minutes on the practice of grounding. You stand barefoot on the floor, close your eyes, and breathe slowly into the lower abdomen 5 times, feeling your feet press into the ground beneath you. You visualize roots extending downward from the soles of your feet, deep into the earth, anchoring you, stabilizing you, connecting you to something larger and more patient than your own anxiety. Then you rub your palms together briskly until they generate warmth. Place them on your lower abdomen and massage in slow clockwise circles for 3 full minutes. You complete this practice by saying, with genuine feeling, I receive fully. I release freely. Wealth flows to me and stays with me. The philosopher William James, the father of modern psychology, said this: "The greatest revolution of our generation is the discovery